He reached out to me about a week ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I have this guy. I don't think it's Peter, but he's like hitting me up. He's like, what's your Web3 wallet? What crypto accounts do you use?" And it's a hacker, like,
Oh, yeah.
portraying himself as you, on Instagram.
Oh, fuck, man.
And
I get them relentless.
yeah,
I probably get 20 messages a week from friends going, "Is this you?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's never me.
right.
I'm never going to
Never.
message you on Instagram. But yeah, they're getting people. It's
They
fucking
get 'em.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I need to ask you something.
All right,
This interview's about you, but I'm going to be really selfish right now.
let's do it.
I've just had a defeat.
Okay.
Just went, after 3 wins, went down to the ye old King's Head in Santa Monica, watched Bedford,
hmm
and we lost 4-1.
Yeah,
I feel fucking terrible.
terrible.
I've never felt this bad with Liverpool, and I supported them for 37 years. I feel terrible. What was that like for you? How much, like, was it a job and like sometimes you win or you lose, or when you lose, or like, was it awful?
Oh no, it was terrible, right? It's because you put so much into that one performance, right? For all of athletics, the NBA, you have more games. MLB, you have a ton, but football, you got 16, now 17 games. So, every game counts. So walking away with defeat, it's part of it, right? Someone's going to lose, and you have to have a short-term memory and learn from it, but then quickly just, okay, now it's just how do I get my body and mind back to recovering and getting ready for the next week and preparing for that next team, right? You can't let it, lead to a capitulation of other losses. But yeah, it sucks, right? It's just, you can feel it just viscerally, just the feeling of defeat, man.
Does it make a difference if the whole team plays bad and you're like, well, we sucked, or does it just not matter?
Yeah, it's different. I mean, if the whole team doesn't play well, then you obviously, something was off, right? Whether it be preparation, the vibe, just everything that goes into performing well. And yeah, you kind of just feel like dog shit, right? You're just sitting in the locker room after, and emotions are hot. People are mad, especially if it's a win that you needed, right? To like maybe go on, like the season ends if you don't win this game. The season's over, playoffs. It sucks. It sucks, but you can only learn from it, right? You just gotta. It's probably hitting you like this because of ownership, right? It's your team now. It's something new. You're not just a fan, so it's, how are you going to cope with it?
It hit me hard during the game.
Mm.
When we went 4-1 down in the first half, I was like, "Fuck, this game's over. We're not going to bring this back," and we didn't. And I was like, "I've got to go and interview Culkin. How do I even get up for this?" And I'm fine. I've come back and I've had a drink and I'm okay. But like, all I can think about is the next game now.
Yeah.
What can I do to help them? And I wanted to ask you about that because I know for you it's kind of different in that you're a player and I'm not. I can't do anything on the pitch.
Mm. But you can keep the arousal up, right? Like you can go in the locker room after and speak to the guys and lift up their spirits and encourage them and know, hey, I got you guys back. This sucks for you guys as it does for me. It's an opportunity to also kind of bring that cohesiveness and make you guys even stronger as a bond, right? Like that's how you have to look at it.
How much for it was you? Was it winning was important for your career versus winning was important because you wanted the team to win?
I've always just embraced the team, right? Everything is for the team. I've always been an unselfish player that there's times that I was doing a role that, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be the backup fullback and go in there a couple hits and those hurt, right? Like when you're playing fullback, you're going full speed into a Mike linebacker, but I knew that added value to the team. And that was a way for me to also show my versatility. But I've always just believed in, the teams that I've been on that we've had a lot of success. When I look back at Mizzou, when we won the SEC East twice, back-to-back years, finished top 5. The years, the last year Antonio Gates played, Phillip Rivers, 2018, I think it was, and we just went on a string of wins. It was contagious, the vibe, the energy, the leadership. It was about the team. We didn't have players that were, selfish, right? Like we really didn't that year. And then when you have those guys that it's all about them, and you see off the field issues and are tweeting and they're saying things in interviews that kind of disrupt that pathway that you guys are all doing as a team, it's hard to really be successful and perform well collectively every single week against a team that's also doing the same thing, right? And it's at the highest level. So I've always been team first.
So momentum counts for a lot.
Oh yeah,
And
for anything in life, right? Like you got to have momentum.
Yeah.
You got to stack those wins, the small ones, and build it up for just how you go about life. But as a team, yeah, and it can go the opposite way too, right? You start going. That year, we actually went 0-4. We went 0-4, and Rivers pulled us up together on an off day, and we just got together and just kind of drew the line in the sand. And I think we won 7 straight wins. Completely different dynamic, right? Momentum. It's a beautiful trait.
All right, man. Well, listen, we hung out in Vegas. Went to a boxing match, shot some guns, but
it's a great time.
Great time, but
incredible.
We said we're going to make a show.
Yeah.
And then here we are, and your life is changing.
Yeah. It's changing.
So you're not going to play football anymore.
Yeah. It's been quite I can't believe that when I looked up the last time I was on this show with you, the first time we ever spoke, it was 9 months ago.
Was it that long ago?
9 months.
Jesus.
That's what Danny said, yeah. So much has happened since then personally for just self-development and growth and opportunity to just learn, right? Learn and take a step back, to pause and reflect and be intentional with what I want to do with my life. Why am I doing what I'm doing? But yeah, it was hard. I think just, the writing was starting to the writing was on the wall, just on where the trajectory of my career was going as a player following my Achilles injury in 2019. And I just feel that based off my passion and interest elsewhere, what do I want the next 2/3 of my life to look like? What was the upside in playing? What was the risk associated to playing this sport? It's modern day gladiator sport, right? I've had every injury you can imagine for the most part, except for my brain, my cognitive health. I want to cherish that, right? And so it just had to make sense. And then when I started to lose just that passion, I guess, it just made sense. I can no longer just avoid reality. It's like my body's been telling me to hang it up ever since I've been trying to come back off that Achilles injury. And
how many seasons did you get in the NFL?
I did 4.
4. Okay.
Yep.
And you, from what age were you a talented footballer? Is it something that happens at like 6 or 8 or 12?
I played 5th grade. I was a left tackle.
What age is that?
I was 11.
But
but I've been playing flag, right, and everything. But it was 5th grade when I started to play tackle football. But I mean, for me, it's just sports in general, right? It's like it's just all I've known. Football, actually, I didn't decide to play collegiate football. I was going for basketball. It wasn't until my senior year. So I always had offers. My first offer was in 8th grade for basketball. I went to a football camp where my brother went at Liberty University, and I show up, and I'm there for football camp, and I left with a basketball offer.
Hold on.
Completely unplanned.
Were you big as a basketball player?
No.
Were you skinny?
Skinny.
Yeah.
I was 6'4". Junior year, I was probably 6'4", 195.
Jesus, I'm like 5'2", 300 pounds.
Yeah, no, I showed up at Missouri my freshman year, I think at 215. And then a year later, I was 235, and then 40, 45. I got as high as 260 professionally. So yeah, I'm also looking forward to not maintaining that weight. And my body does not want to be that heavy.
Well, hold on. So you have to eat to maintain that weight.
Yeah, like I would.
This is bullshit.
I had to eat. Going into the combine training, I didn't even make it to the combine. Wasn't invited. That was another chip on my shoulder. I had my nutritionist. I had to eat 6,000 calories a day.
About what I have.
Yeah.
Well, I drink about
6,000 to not lose weight. And then if I wanted to gain, because my what do they call it?
Metabolic rate.
Metabolic, it was like 3,700. And then I would train and probably do 2,000 to 3,000. Yeah, it was crazy.
It's just not fair.
It's slowed down since then. Yeah, it's slowed down though. Ever since when I had surgery, it was hard. My body kind of changed. And now I notice, okay, if I don't train that hard and I keep the typical caloric intake. I'm not, starting to gain a little weight.
So we talked about proof of work a lot because proof of work is obviously a very important Bitcoin topic, but we talked about it in terms of life, in terms of your sports career, that you had to put the work in. If you wanted to make it in the NFL,
Oh, yeah.
you had to constantly put the work in at every level. You've explained to me part of the training, and you explained to me in terms of learning the plays. Like, there's so much to this. And then there becomes a point in your life where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to make it. And you expect I know we got Rich here. And, Rich said the average career is like 3 years, but I'm assuming your assumption is I'm going to get 6 to 10 years?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's always the goal. I think the average actually is 2.5 or 2.7. If you get 3, you get vested. So sometimes
they cut you.
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
I mean, who knows, right?
Is it that length mainly due to injuries, or just there's just like this churn of players because there's new ones?
The churn rate's high, dude. There's a new batch coming out every year. There's only 53 spots on that active roster, right? So like you're competing against the world, and injuries. It's your peak physically, for me at least, from my experience, was when I stepped in as a rookie. And then, when that season ends, your body's just brutally broken down, right? You got to rest, recover, and then you train and you kind of get back up, but you weren't quite what you were going in as a rookie, right? And then every offseason, it's a little bit less. And then if you throw in a season-ending injury and you have surgery and you got to recover, now you can't train like you want to. So it's just harder, right? It can be done, but it's just very, very hard. So I think it's a combination of performance and skill, right? And just kind of and injuries, getting older. It's part of the game. So, I mean, you look at Tom Brady, it's a different position, right? But look at, the pliability, the TB12 method, what he does to protect his body.
What's the TB12 method?
It's kind of like his brand and business that he started outside of football. I don't know, maybe give or take a decade, maybe, at least it's been a little bit, but this talks about his approach to keeping his body healthy to sustain those hits and play. How many years did he do? 18, 19, 20? I don't know. I thought he was going to go to 50. I'm actually really disappointed that he retired officially. Was it today, actually?
It's today, yeah.
Today, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was going to do another season, but what do I know? I mean, I don't know shit about this. But, I mean, anyone to be playing, outside of golf, to be playing a professional sport at that level at 44 years old.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Incredible. I wanted him to go to 50.
It's similar in football in our football that we have goalkeepers. It's similar to like the quarterback. They can play in the Premier League up to 40 because there's a different type of fitness they need. It's probably more up here, like a mental fitness than a physical. They have to be physically fit, but they're not running up and down the pitch.
I mean, dude, if you zoom out, it's the same for any sport, right? It's like, all right, look at the tight end spot. That's what I played. Pretty much everyone's 6'5", 255, give or take, right? Everyone's going to run probably a sub 4.7 40. Everyone can catch. Most people can block pretty well. And what got you there, first off, right? From all the other tight ends that are playing at the collegiate level. There's so many. Like, what separates you from the pack to get you to have an opportunity just to be in the 90-man roster? What separates you in a month's time, learning a new playbook, new system? You're getting graded every single play. You're filmed every play you're filming. And how do you make that cut to 53? It's a mindset. It's definitely the proof of work mindset that you cultivate from when you were a kid, right? It's like, I mean, this is my brand, this is my story. I could talk about this all day on just what got me from high school, or just from high school to college. How did I get there? The sacrifices that I had to do. No weekends, for the most part. I was traveling. I mean, I was on Adidas team for Florida. The month of July is like the on window where scouts can come. I slept in my bed, and when everyone's in summer, hanging out, going to the beaches in Florida, I slept in my bed 3 nights that month. I traveled for camps, tournaments. It's a grind, man. You got to do sacrifice. Same thing when you go to the college level. You got to balance a social life, football, and those demands.
Are there players that are good enough that they can like get away with it?
I mean, there's genetic freaks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But at some point, evolution, catches up. Like you can only, the guys that would be 5-6% body fat and walking into the workout, scarfing down McDonald's 5 minutes before, at some point you see them in 10 years when they're playing, talking about how they eat like a super clean diet, right? Because it's they've got like a car, right? You're not going to just put shitty gas in the Porsche, right? Or you got to eat the body right.
Do you think there are any games as complicated as American football? Because, we were at the Rams 49ers game the other day, and you were explaining bits to me, and spent time with you before, and you've talked about the plays to me. There's an insane amount to the sport. You were talking about the spotters up in the stands, looking to see who the other guys are bringing on, and bring the other people on. You had the offensive coordinator. Like, it's so much to it. You said a game of chess, but like, this is genuine, like 6D chess.
Yeah, it's a huge production, right? There's so many people. You go to the facility, it's a corporation, right? And the amount of work on the back end from the scouts, the analytics, the prep, the scouting from other teams, implementing it into your game plan, changing it just for 3 or 4 days leading up to that next opponent. And then, the first kickoff, then it's a live action, right? Bullets are flying. That's why I said it's a chess match where it's the coordinator versus the next coordinator, right? It's game theory. It's all probabilities to call the play that, enhances your success, that one play, and just stack them 50, 60 times a game. And we also talked about how you can have 2 or 3 plays.
Yeah, I can think of the ones in the game.
Right. We talked about it. It's like, listen, if they lose by 7 or less, that one play cost it. And you see that happen with the 49ers that day.
Wow. There's 4 plays that stood out to me. There was the very early Rams on the attack. I don't know if you say it the same. And there was the interception within the end zone, and there was a turnover, and that changed the game. Mm-hmm. There was the Rams guy should have caught the touchdown. Again, would have changed the game. But there was 2 on the 49ers. The interception missed when they were 10 up. But also what really stood out was that play where nobody knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, at the end. Yeah, you could see it.
That felt like the stadium and the atmosphere built in the stadium is designed in a way to put off the opposition.
Yeah. I mean, think about soccer stadiums too. Like, they have it built architecturally wise, like just to trap in the sound, right? It's a huge advantage to be at home. The other team has to do, silent snap. You can't do your typical cadence because you can't hear. Imagine, like, it was so loud for us in the crowd there, right? Loud. Like, I could barely even think. You're screaming in my ear, and I can't really even hear what you're saying. And imagine being on the field, trying to hear the snap count. If you're a little late, the defender is watching the ball. They'll just blow you off the water. So you have to see in your peripherals where the ball is. And your brain's just rattling because of the noise, right? It's exciting, man. That's what it's about, though, right? It brings out the best in you because it's a huge adrenaline rush. Man, I miss that.
But it's a football. We talk about Bitcoin rabbit hole. There is a football rabbit hole, an American football rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
I knew the basics. Danny was there, his first game, and I knew what he knew, and I knew a bit more. But even in that game, I learned a lot more. I learned from Rich when Rich was talking about the way the plays would happen when they've essentially got one route left. The way the defensive people would give ground up, and I don't think like I said earlier, I don't think there's a sport as complicated as American football.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other sports where, baseball, it's sequential plays, where with football, soccer, it's like you're constantly going and you're kind of just, this hockey, it's kind of keeps, with football, it's it's that one play, you have 6 seconds, right? And it's the IQ needed, time management, where are you on the field, down in distance, what's the score? There's so much that goes into it. And then as a player, you got to know the playbook and be able to read defenses. Like in high school, you're just All right, I'm gonna run a post. Sweet. College is a huge thing too. It's a huge jump, huge leap, but usually the plays can be pretty much conveyed just from hand signals. Like this would be a play. We all know what to do. We line down and do it. And the NFL, the play count, like so long, right? And then when you play with a guy like Philip Rivers, and he'll have a check to almost every play. So he was walking up, you think you're doing a play, he doesn't like the look, he'll check out of it because he's played that long. He just understands defenses that long. And then from there, as a player, you're reading, you think you have a pretty good idea. You're just playing probabilities. You see this front from watching that player, how much pressure is on his hands, right? Literally looking at the knuckles, like how much you can see like what he's gonna do. Is he gonna be vertical and bull rush, or is he gonna be more lateral? Is it a read gap or not? And from the routes perspective, when you're running routes, like half the time the coverage changes as a snap. So as the play goes on, you have to react and adjust and change what you were thinking pre-snap, and then be on the same page with the quarterback, all right, to make it happen. But from the outsider perspective, you just see downside hike, throw the ball, nice catch. Oh, you should have caught it. Why did you drop it? But it's like there's so much there, right? It's fun though, right?
So what's the difference then for the best players? Is it most people are physically the same? Is it more of a case you have a football intelligence to read the game?
The IQ has to be there for sure. Again, there's so many players physically that are probably more or less like, how much better really are they, right? It's about the fit, the chemistry. Do they gel with that team? Are they good people? That stuff definitely, can be felt by the vets and GMs and scouts and coaches. And then, yeah, how smart are you to understand and learn a playbook? You don't have many mess ups, right? So you show up, I was undrafted, right? You show up, there's 90 guys. If you're undrafted, you got a couple mess ups, maybe. And that might be it. If you're first round pick, you can mess up left and right. You're going to be there. Guaranteed money, you're going to be there. They're going to give you every opportunity to understand the system and be at your best. It might take a couple of guys, a couple of years. But you mess up one or two times, out. Let's get another guy. Shit. And that'll happen throughout the season too. You see people get released on the waiver wire every week.
Yeah,
and then there's other guys ready to come on in, right?
But you can get cut and end up at the Super Bowl.
I told you about that.
You told me about that. Yeah,
he got cut or something happened. I don't know if his contract expired. Somehow he literally went from playing with the Raiders all year to Cincinnati, and he posted a picture and he's like Super Bowl bound.
That's fucking unbelievable.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I kind of want them to win now for that guy.
No doubt.
I want him to get his ring.
Same.
So let's go back. Sorry, Bitcoiners, we're not talking about Bitcoin at the moment. I'm sure you're going to be pissed at us. But so there must have been a moment where you're like, okay, I got to retire. You had to go through that moment.
Yeah, and it was hard, right? It's like I knew what was needed. It made sense rationally. I knew it's what I wanted, but still I was not really prepped or just ready for what was lying ahead, for that next journey. It's like, I think you really have to mourn it, right? Back to what I said earlier. It's like, man, I've played athletics for so long, right? It's like, yeah, you can say my identity is not in the sport, but it kind of is, right? You know what I mean? Like every sense of social engagement and gratification, it's usually like, we like Sean because Sean did X, fill in the blank, on the field, on the court. So then, gosh, I had like identity crisis, kind of like, who am I? Am I Sean the football player? Oh, I just made all that huge noise with Bitcoin. Happened fast. It was a roller coaster. I was like, man, this is awesome. I'm doing what I need to be doing. And then boom, rug got pulled. And do they only like me because I play football on the Bitcoiner or not, right? Like this is going through my head. So then from there, my mental health declined. I dealt with depression. I just struggled with plans, I guess, and how I coped with it. I'm constantly, all right, well, I just got to figure it and learn and consume as much information and build up what's next for me. But I still needed, like I said, mourn that. They have a statement.
What were you mourning the fact that you're retiring early and you've got to find something new to do and find a new identity, or was a large part of it's like, fuck, I didn't get to finish this, I didn't get to fulfill what I set out to do?
I had a more in Sean the athlete.
Yeah.
He had to die, right? It's like they say that every athlete has to die twice, whether that is after high school, college. You go a long period of time. This is why I was so adamant about Bitcoin, right? You spend so much time prepping and preparing for this one sport, and it fortunately becomes a path to free education in college. It then fortunately became a career for me. That's where I was like, where are you storing your money, right? I'm not going to have that inflated away. Like, that's why I chose Bitcoin. But when that's gone, right, it's like I have to like that. That's no longer, right? And like I couldn't. I watched the only games I watched. I think this year, for the most part, we were probably sitting at the game together, right? The two times we went, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had this realization. I actually, I remember texting Bryant. He's here now. About a couple weeks ago, where I'm watching this guy that was probably a similar player, tight end wise, right? Like a role that I would have, been doing before my injury, what the path looked like for me. And I see him playing so well. And I was like, yep, that was a great period of time for me, right? That was something that I loved and enjoyed and cherished, in the relationships and opportunities that have happened from this sport. And I just had gratitude and appreciation for what it was, and then also excitement to see that guy play well. It wasn't like I wasn't being a hater, where I think up to then I'd be like, man, that should have been me, man, what was me, what's going on? And that's when I really, really owned, like, it was liberating. Like, I've chills just thinking about it now, like, where it's like, I couldn't imagine actually being a player right now, like with what my plans are going forward and how I want to make my impact in this world. That seems like another world to me, like a past life, right?
So
and it took a while to get there.
So you mourned it. You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it was hard, but yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, because I've been, I've known you for these 9 months, and we've got to spend some time together and hang out. And I know you've wrestled with it. You didn't know if you were coming back, when you were coming back, and obviously I know now. But you seem in a good place, which is good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've learned so much about me and this self-realization and like what I want. And it's like everything's just gravitated towards wellness, because in the last, period of that time, right, where it's like, am I retiring? Am I not? Am I playing? Am I not? I realized in hindsight, actually, just recently, where it's like I was doing a fiat lifestyle.
You were doing the fiat
this
lifestyle?
Is for your Bitcoiners. This is for your Bitcoiners.
We can bring it in now.
Yeah, so it's like,
if they stuck around.
I think to have a life of wellness, there's a proof of work lifestyle that's needed. And I can go back to proof of work back.
I've got proof of Eden.
Yep. Proof of ribs.
Proof of dinner.
Yep. I mean, yeah, think about what I was discussing, like to go from high school to college, from college to pro. There is a proof of work that's needed to get there. There's no free lunch, right? Mm-hmm. And I think for me, at some point professionally, it was a job. And I'm also with the boys. I couldn't believe this is my occupation. I'm just out here training, being my best. I'm still a super hard worker, right? I have goals. I wanted to be the best. But it's different when you're just doing it because this is what we do. We'll get fined if we don't come and run and do conditioning, right? It's like I wasn't, at some point, I think I didn't wake up and actively choose a proof of work lifestyle, right? It's like running with a bunch of friends, and then when that little voice in your head says, hey, I'm gonna stop at 2 miles, not go 3. And it's real easy to just be like, yeah, no, I'll get up tomorrow. It's like, that's a fiat lifestyle. When you're with your friends, you don't really choose to go on, but that empowering moment to be like, no, hell no, I'm going 3 miles because I said I was doing 3 miles. Shut up, dude. Like, right? You literally got to tell them. It's like, David Goggins talks about it. It's the inner bitch, right? Like, tell them to F off, dude. That proof of work lifestyle yields wellness. And I think it's just, there's work required. There's deliberate habits that are needed. There's habits that have to be formed, and you have to prioritize your physical well-being, your spiritual, emotional, social, and intellectual well-being, right? And that's what I've realized just in this journey, because when I got released, I wasn't doing it. I was living the fiat lifestyle, and like I said, my mental health deteriorated, and I got to such a bad place. And how did I get here? Man, don't hit snooze. Don't do it. Don't hit snooze, bro. Make your bed. Be outside for a walk when the sun rises. Work out every day. See the sunset. Meditate. Or have some type of practice or ritual that allows a sense of stillness and a clear mind, right? And be spiritually grounded, whatever that means to you individually. It's not rocket science. There's nothing novel there, but why is it so hard? Why do people not do it? How, like, yeah, right?
Well, did Bitcoin give you that anchoring? Because I know from talking to a bunch of people in Bitcoin, whether it's interviews or just hang out with friends, there is that discovering Bitcoin and understanding money, but then there's that second layer of like discovering yourself, and which becomes like aligned and anchored to Bitcoin in terms of time preference and proof of work, which I know half of my life I've anchored to it and I've done it, and like half of my life I've completely fucking failed at that. But was that an anchoring or was it a coincidence?
I was so lost at one point that I don't even think I was thinking about it like that.
Okay.
It took me to get to a place of wellness and clarity to be like, holy shit, like I see it. Like it's like, it was short, that dark period, right? So I've always, like, there was a reason why I resonated with Bitcoin. And I know it's made me evaluate friendships and relationships differently, and just what I want to do with my time. Why am I doing what I'm doing, right? Like it's just, it kind of, I think that does that for every Bitcoiner that really grasps and understands it, right? It's you can't fake truth. There's universal truths that will arise, and I try to seek that every day, and I think that also goes in parallel with Bitcoin. But yeah, now looking back, you definitely see it, right, as like the Bitcoin lifestyle and how it's needed just to cultivate that sense of wellness, for sure.
So what's gonna happen now, dude?
Dude, I'm trying to just tell my story and be so transparent and authentic to only me, right? It's like I've discovered what has helped me and to get to being well, and I just want to stay true to that and hope that I can present a product and a platform that can help others have that and attainable to fit in that noisy lifestyle, right? It's like, especially in this information age, right? There's so much information being dispersed and really important information, right? There's a whole revolution going on. We're shifting to a digital economy. How are you supposed to, whether it be as an entrepreneur, 8 to 5, you have kids, how are you supposed to prioritize and do those things that make you well, which I think is working out, meditating, reading books, listening to these podcasts, and doing all those things. Like for me, if I do that, it takes 4 hours, right? It takes me 4 hours. That's not optimal of my time. I think about my brother, and he's got the 8 to 5, beautiful family, wants to show up as a father to them. And it's so hard for him to incorporate that workout, that meditation, that reading. So how can I create a product that can get him from 0 to 1 and me 4 hours to 1? And that's what I'm excited about. And I'm going to pay people in Bitcoin to do it. And that's all I'm going to tell you right now.
All right, we're gonna.
No, that's it, man. That's it.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
dude.
I'm gonna probe in a bit. Okay, can I be a test case?
Absolutely.
Can I lose 20 pounds by
You
Bitcoin
can.
2020? 10 weeks.
How many pounds?
20.
15.
15.
12.
12.
You can do 12.
Can I grow 7 inches?
That I cannot do.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Sorry.
That's the bullshit part. I struggle with my weight. I always have. The only time I've ever got in shape was when I didn't work and I was vegan and I was running every day. And now, like, traveling, running a football team, making the podcast, I just can't. I haven't got my mindset, or I haven't got the discipline in place to have the diet. And I can do it. Like, I do it some days, right? I'll be back in the UK. Monday, I'm great. Tuesday, I'm great. Thursday, I'm great. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I fucking smash.
Well, you lost the momentum. What did we say in the beginning of this pod, right? About the team.
Yeah.
Momentum. The life. You need that in your life.
I see that tub of Pringles. I have 2.
Don't do it.
And then I crushed the whole
war of attrition.
pack.
Skip this one workout. The bag of Pringles. It's fine. I'm just gonna do it. Don't do it.
Flip it. Skip that one tub of Pringles.
I still do it too, right?
Yeah, but look at you.
I crushed. I don't know how many ice cream sandwiches a couple days ago.
Yeah, but you've got a 6,000 calorie base rate. Mine's like 2,000.
Well, yours is hard because you're back too, right? Because I think that I talk to people. I'm like, well, what's your regimen look like? What are you doing for physical activity? What are you doing calories wise? There's proof of work, right? I think like for me, I'm just experimenting now. I've never done this, like truly counting every calorie. And I got the Apple Watch now. It tells me how many calories I expend. What am I trying to do? What are my goals? I'm trying to lose weight. Make sure that I consume less than I burn.
What for you though? Like, what's the secret to all this? The discipline required.
Like I said, don't hit snooze. If you hit snooze, then when it says, hey, later on when you're trying to create a podcast, right, you're trying to research your guests, you're trying to listen to these books, you make sure you're doing well, and then you want to speak to your kids, and it's like, I got to work. Nah. Well, it started when you hit snooze. You looked at the bed, you didn't make it. You got to make your bed. I think earlier better. Wake up earlier. Go to bed earlier. Right?
I don't have
just
that
do
problem.
it. Just do it, and then small wins, right?
Okay.
Small wins. So when you do wake up right away, when you do make your bed, when you do go for a walk, celebrate those. Go get a 20-minute workout. I'm not saying you need to go do a CrossFit and just snatch 300 pounds and just do all these burpees left and right and
walk up and down the beach.
Yeah, go walk up and down the beach and get some sunlight and watch your world shift. It will 180.
And then celebrate
30 minutes and celebrate after.
With a tub of Pringles.
Ton of Pringles. And ice cream sandwiches. All of it, right? Not that. But or moderation. Splurge, but just don't lose yourself and just wake up and see it this empty box, right? And just stack those ones every day, consistency, and watch that it's like almost becomes a routine. It becomes a habit. Like I said, the proof of work to make it a habit, part of your lifestyle. And then you can't even imagine going back to not doing that. And like I said, it can be just walking, power walk, keep your heart rate at a certain level and just go for 30 minutes.
Is this a Bitcoin company that you're launching?
I like to think so. I think it's why I'm so excited is because it's my story and it's literally the boxes that I know in my experiences. It is wellness and what's worked for me and overlapping with Bitcoin. Man, dude, I don't like, they say make sure you have a job that doesn't feel like work. Like if you can, it's like I don't even think I had a plan to get there. And now since I'm actually going to go through that phase of exploring entrepreneurship, I wake up at 6 and I go to bed at 9, and I feel like there's not an hour where at least 60% of that is somehow, how can this apply to my business? It doesn't seem like work. I couldn't be happier.
It's a fascinating journey because we first connected because you were the guy going to take his salary in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rug ball happened.
Yeah.
You've been through this difficult period. And I know those dark times.
Yeah, man.
I've been through it myself. And you're coming out the other end. And
it's like an awakening, right? It's like, and it can happen fast.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, just when you start to make those changes, start with like, I'm talking to a buddy and he's kind of going through a similar situation. I'm like, dude, set your timer on your phone, 30 minutes. Go outside, peak sunrise, or this peak middle of the day. Go for a run or walk. Run, and when you get tired, walk. And just let that be the next step for you when you're lost and you don't trust. Because when you're in those dark times, right? Like you almost don't trust just closing your eyes and listening to those intrusive thoughts, right? And like you don't know the plan. You can't plan anymore. You can't think, okay, this is what I want to build for my life. I want to think about next week and next month and this year. And here's my 5-year plan. Are you kidding me? I'm going hour by hour, right? You know what I mean? Because you're survival mode. You're in survival mode and it's scary, but it's like, okay, at least, all right, I'm going to go outside and run. Start there. You know, I'm going to drink some more water than I did yesterday. Start there. I don't know about this meditation thing, but I think I'm just going to, you know, close my eyes 2 or 3 minutes, take a pause from life, be present, right? How many people aren't present? It's so hard to be present, and it's only getting harder. I think there's an inverse correlation, right, between technology advancement and health and wellness as a civilization. How, like, all these notifications, all this stuff's going on. How do you just be here and in the now?
You make a podcast, so you have to be.
All right, I guess so. Yeah, you're really good at that, right? It's like, if not, you kind of just
I got lucky.
stick to the script, right? It's like you actually have to be here now, be an active listener, not have a preloaded answer. Things that are, again, this isn't nothing novel. Why is it so hard to do? I don't know.
I think sometimes it's routine, right? You had a routine with your job that you had to turn up,
Mm-hmm.
you had to work out, the team's working out, you're training together. Then you lose that routine.
It was programmed for me.
Yeah.
And then I was in the abyss and I wasn't doing it. And my wellness deteriorated.
At every level.
Yeah, every level.
Yeah.
Every level. And it took, I mean, gosh, there's so much opportunity in those low spots, right? You know, like, I think every man needs to be tested. And I've had a journey, right, in playing professional sports. Man, I tore my Achilles bad when I was looking to, I was peak. I was starting for a couple of weeks.
You were about to score a touchdown.
I know, I caught it on the 2-yard line, brother.
On the fucking
Didn't
2-yard
score.
line.
I'm like,
oh my God.
oh, I'm just sitting there just like,
You got to tell that because you told me that the other night.
yeah.
Because I let's just set this. We're watching the game, and I'm like, so did you? I think I asked you first. Does the tight end score touchdowns?
Yeah.
And then like the next play, the tight end
Right.
caught a play.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you get a touchdown? And then you told me this story.
Didn't have a professional touchdown, dude. It's like, I remember we had a timeout, and player came in and called the play, and we're like, I think we're running that pop pass. I'm like, all right, down in distance where we're at. I'm like, okay, this is maybe a tug. No doubt in my mind. And it just
What line were you
we're
on?
probably on like the 12-yard line, maybe.
Oh, you're like,
15.
this is on.
It was a play action pass. I knew, and it's not like I was more of a blocking tight end, right? So I knew that the secondary, the safety is going to suck in, show play action, show run. I was going to sell it. I'm blocking initially, and then I toss the defender and go out. And that's exactly what happened. And it was just a little high. It was a little windy too. Me and Phil talked about it, and it was just a little awkward. Caught it, and then as soon as I came down toe hill, I felt like a baseball bat just like hit the back of my calf.
You couldn't even roll over the line.
Yeah. Oh, it's touchdown too, or tag down. Yeah. So I mean, I've had difficulties in college. I've had surgeries, injuries throughout sporadically that were hard, and that develops resiliency for sure. Man, I had another Achilles injury. No one even knows because I didn't do it in a game, but after I had this surgery, 3 months later, I flew back and had a preemptive surgery on my other Achilles. So I didn't walk for 5 months, and I was on the onset leading up to COVID. It was like January 2nd, 2020 was the surgery date for my second one. It was tough, right? Definitely developed grit from that. But there's something about being out of that ecosystem, right? Out of that world that I've been in my whole life, being with athletes. When you're alone and you're really challenged, like that's when I figured out who Sean is. What am I about? And for a while, I wasn't too happy.
Well,
I looked in the mirror, man. I didn't like what I saw.
You're hanging out with degenerates like me in American Huddle.
Yeah, right.
Get some beers.
But again, it's all moderation, right? You can drink. Like, I'm not saying like you had to cut it out. I mean, I know some nutritionists would say, disagree. But I think, again, it's all about there's balance in life, right? Because you want to get one life too. You just want to be so detailed, act like a robot, and just, hey, but I'm fit and well. It's like, no, live, but just moderation, right? You got to find what works for you. But when you aren't happy and satisfied with your current situation, you have to make changes. And you got to be intentional and proactive, develop a plan, and stick to it. It's really hard to do.
Have you separated yourself from that world and those players?
No, I talked to I would text with I got really good friends that I've made. That's why I'm when I said I have so much gratitude for the relationships and the opportunities, but it's hard because they're playing, you know what I mean? And they got an off day. I remember getting lunch with Austin Eckler on his bye week. That was cool. Hunter Henry's a good friend of mine, Dan Feeney, Isaac Rochelle. Talk to those guys often, but you know, it's like they got their own thing going on, right? I know that life. It's like you don't want to that off day. You just I Postmates 3 meals. I do not leave the house other than to get my massage, go to my chiropractor, get some PT in, hot tub, cold tub, come back in, sit in my bed, Netflix. Like that's your one off day. You cherish that, man. I don't want to be texting, calling friends.
Well, listen, you got this whole group of new friends anyway in the Bitcoin world.
Yeah, no, man, are you kidding? I have so much appreciation for the people I've met and how they've been there for me. Dude, Rich Katz, right?
Rich
Man,
cats, man.
he's here now. Like, there's a reason for that because he's been such a great friend. Like, I am beyond just grateful for the friendship that was cultivated, and that happened because of Bitcoin. It happened because we were at Miami, all right, at your event. That's when I met him. We just kind of maintained. He's like, hey, I'm in LA. Man, he's one of my closest friends. That would never happen. So it's like I got Bitcoin friends, and I get the list goes on. There's other people too, and that's been really cool, really unique.
How much of a part of your life do you think that's going to be now ongoing?
Talking about like Bitcoin,
Yeah, like,
I think,
do you think that's integral to this
yeah,
thing you're doing? I
yeah,
want to dig
'cause
into it,
oh,
man.
hey, when we launch, you know, I'll come
All
back and
right,
we'll go through
man.
it. But like, think about it. It's like, yeah, it's I want to incentivize like you earn Bitcoin by living a life of wellness to do the right things. You can earn Bitcoin, and
So it's like a Bitcoin cashback.
yeah, except that you're not getting fiat. You know, you're getting, and it's only gonna be a couple of dollars,
Hold
right? But
on.
it's
So
like
you're like
you know,
mining Bitcoin by doing something. I know you don't want to talk about this, but I'm just seeing the
oh, I
analogy.
see where no,
No,
trust me, how I see it going, it's like it's a huge audacious goal. First off, which I'm just ready for that challenge.
But it's like human mining of Bitcoin. Like I can get an ASIC and I can mine Bitcoin, and that's proof of work. I'm expending energy and I'm getting Bitcoin, but I know you don't want to talk about it. So you just tell me shut the fuck up. But I'm like, okay, so like if I put the work in, you're going to pay me Bitcoin. I'm expending energy to get Bitcoin.
It's all about energy, right?
So
First off, yeah.
I'm personally mining Bitcoin by doing some shit with my life.
But I think Bitcoin's so important. So like the fact I can overlap the two, and again, it's just my story. It's like that's where, man, this could be something that, you know, you get, I don't know, you know, a couple million in revenue after expenses. I walk away with just a stable living to cover expenses. Sweet. It's my passion, right? I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Maybe this scales to be something huge. Sweet. It's not about that. It's like, I have an idea that this helped me. How can I deliver it in digestible ways to people that I hope and also believe strongly to be of value for them? That makes me feel like I have purpose and bringing value to this world in a good way, right? It's good for Bitcoin. It's good for people's lives. That excites me. Not, man, Sean Culkin, he played, instead of 4 years, you got out 5, 6, 7. Like, who knows? I couldn't even tell you who won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I couldn't tell you who the game we went to yesterday was playing, like the players and this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all small, you know, it's not lasting. This excites me.
What's it been like for you in this kind of Bitcoin world as well? Like, how have you adapted to it? Because it's fairly newish to you relatively.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably very different from the world you were used to with football. How have you adapted to it? Have you adapted to what there is to learn, the rabbit hole to go down?
It's a huge rabbit hole.
Like, have you adapted to that? Have you adapted to fluctuations in price and everything that comes along with it?
Fluctuations are cool. I said that back when I was still, you know, going after my announcement. I went on quite a few podcasts talking about it as it started to plummet the first time, right? It's the volatility that I've had in football. Am I getting cut next week? They just brought in a workout. I'm getting paid week to week. I call my mom 1 p.m. PST 101. Hey mom, the check's gonna cash for the week. We'll hold on until next week and I'll call you then. I live that life is so custom and normal, and I it's fine. That's it's opportunity. It's competition in football. It's great. It brings out the best of me. If you have income coming through and you're DCing, like that's just, you're grateful for it then, right? It takes conviction to go down that rabbit hole, to build the confidence, to understand it, to get there, right? But that wasn't an issue. it's hard to explain it to people that aren't Bitcoiners when it is volatile, right? You know, and then, you know, when I made that huge that announcement, man, I didn't think it was gonna go that big.
Dude.
Here, my one tweet had like 6.8 million impressions. It was on all these things, and then when I got on here, then it just kept going. And it's like, all right, and then it started going down. So then everyone's like, oh, he's the idiot that put his dollar in Bitcoin. The amount of tweets, right, that like calling me like this dumbass gonna be broke, lost all his NFL money. It's like, all right, well, you know, economics and finance, that was initially gonna be my life, right? I was ready before the NFL to go to Wall Street. And then, like I said this all in the first episode, right? But so explaining it to other people, it can be hard. Twitter can be toxic.
Fuck yeah, man.
Twitter can be toxic. I actually went off the grid because, yeah, I've been off the grid. I'm excited to get back out there. I'll be announcing, you know, soon.
It's still toxic.
Yeah, no. I lurk, right? I'm still there. I still log in. I still see what's going on. I see the arguments. I see your name pops up quite a bit. I love it. I love it.
I think less so these days. I've got it twice now. So I've not only got the Bitcoiners fucking shouting at me, I've got opposition football people shouting at me and laughing at me. Today it was brutal because we're losing 4-1 at halftime, and this guy who plays or is a steward at the club next door hate us. He just put like laughing emojis. I was saying to Danny, I was like, what do I do? Do I tell him to fuck off? Do I block him? What do I do? Danny's like, as ever, he's like, just ignore him, Pete.
Just ignore it. Mute. I've had to do that from. So the toxicity is more entertainment. It doesn't really impact me because
it's not real life.
Well, I've at Missouri, man. Gosh, after the game, you know, you don't play well and you lose. Like you go on Twitter and people are just like, "You terrible. You shouldn't belong here. I can't believe. Get out of here. Lose your scholarship." You know, you make a good play the next week, you win. Same people. We love you. Thank you so much for coming. Mizzou made. You know, and that's not anything bad on, you know, Mizzou. That's the game, right? In college athletics, especially, and NFL.
I still don't think that's good for mental health.
No, definitely not, because we have a negative cognitive bias, right? As humans, like we can get 1,000 replies and 800 be super positive. We don't even think twice about those. That 200.
It could be that one.
The one.
The one.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking ratios. It could be a few. That's all. And it just, you ruminate, right? And you're sitting with it. And then before you know it, you're believing it. And then you're questioning it, right? It's like, hold on. Take a step back, right? About being present, right? Aware that I'm aware. I don't have to be these thoughts that are coming. I don't have to. These guys don't know my story. They don't know anything that's going on. Why am I going to put value on their input that is just BS? Let it come and go. Let it come and go, right? It's hard to do.
Yeah, it is. Although you can use it to drive yourself forward as well. It's okay, I'll prove you motherfuckers wrong.
Oh, for sure. It's a sense of success. It's, you know, the best. What's the best? The best revenge is massive success. That quote, right? You can definitely use it to chip on your shoulder. Yeah, no, I've had that. Not necessarily, you know, from tweets. I kind of try to detach. In college, I always deleted the app. You know, the icon. Same with pro ball. Yeah, just finding what makes you tick, right? And to prove them wrong, that chip on your shoulder. It's like I had that going to Mizzou. I had that. I was undrafted. It's like that's a big part of it too. So you got to do that as an owner. You got to have to. You're going through new territories, right?
Yeah.
You got to learn and
it's rough.
Do you like it though? How much fun are you having though so far? It's probably a lot on you.
I feel just the most blessed, lucky person in the world.
That's awesome. Getting
to live the life I want to live. I get to hang out with my buddy Sean Culkin with this beautiful view, and this is work, and then I get to work on a football team for my local town and try and do something for the people of Bedford. But this football team's gripped me like nothing has gripped me in my life. I'm obsessing over it.
Mm-hmm.
I go to bed thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. It's going to be a really fascinating test of myself as well. My ability to deal with failure and my ability to deal with more trolls. I've put my whole reputation on the line with this.
Seriously.
I've gone out bold and said, "This is what we're going to do," and then you go out. Some weeks you lose, you get shit on. But I wouldn't change it, man.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and the leadership role too. I mean, obviously your father, but like now you're, you know, guys are looking up to you to lead by example.
Yeah, it's a different leadership role
Mm,
as well, because you can tell off your kids.
mm,
I can't discipline these people. I
right.
have to keep them motivated, but I have to not overstep the mark
Mm,
of what is the owner versus
sure.
there's a manager whose job
For
is
sure.
to
Yeah,
do
true.
certain
Yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. You're right.
But I had a fairly safe podcast career. It's record 30 interviews, get some good people in. I'm fortunate enough to get to talk to the most amazing people, and I just throw some questions out and they answer, and people seem to like it. But now I'm like, whole reputation.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get a team in the football league, and I've convinced people to sponsor it. And I'm telling people to buy jerseys. And if it fails, it all falls on me. Everyone's going to look at me and go, "You didn't fucking do it." And I don't know what that means, but I mean, Sean, you'll understand this. You got to take some risks.
Yeah, this. Yeah.
You got to take some fucking risks.
100%, dude. Yeah, anything worth pursuing in life, you can't just half-ass it, right? And you got to take those calculated risks, and it's something that you believe in, right? Like and if it doesn't happen that way, you learn from it. It's okay. Like you knew that you did everything possible, right? And kind of detach from the outcome. But when it comes to jump, when it's time to jump, you jump. Man, I mean, there's risk in me, wanting to get paid, right? Like I knew there was assumed risk in that and how I'd be perceived in the eyes and everything on me. And now going through entrepreneurship, like, it'd be real easy to take, the easy route and take a job, right? And have a salary. But when you see something and believe in something so much, that's where you want to be, right? Like you want to be in a position to pursue those goals, to pursue those interests and things that you were so passionate about and able to do, and then share with others. Like that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. And there's a huge amount of risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it works, the people get paid out of it. It's how capital allocation works. But if it fails, then it fails.
So when do we find out the details? How long we got to wait?
It's happening fast. Like
Okay.
I mean, yeah, like the last few months, it's really cool to see it scale, and now I'm really embracing too like that founder position where it's like, man, what I'm building something from the ground level zero. What do I want that culture to be like? What other people do I want to work with me? What do we want to be about internally, externally? It's fun. It's like all these different buckets. It's like how to build a startup, my idea, just how to be a founder and leader and be stoic and it's like I'm constantly learning. There's so much things to learn, and I just have this drive to just eat it all up, right? And just be my best self and just have fun.
Are we talking weeks? Are we talking months?
Hey, I mean, how I see it really, really playing out like long term to go there and like, go out in tears, but years, right? Like this is gonna be a project, a big, big project. What I'm trying to create is gonna take a lot. There's gonna be a lot of proof of work needed. But yeah, maybe months we'll definitely be able to, have something that's more tangible and be able to discuss with you, and it'd be fun.
Get it out there. Let
Get
people
it out
know.
there, yeah.
Well, listen, man. Listen, I'm super proud of you, and also really like just happy to call you a friend. You've become someone I've got to know over these last few months. I know if I reach out to you and I'm like, I'm here, let's hang out, you can be like, yeah, let's fucking go. And luckily, we've also got Rich Katz over there who has like an endless supply of sports tickets for us to go to any event we want.
We have had some fun, yes.
Rich
has definitely hooked it up.
We'll get him to a Bedford game.
Can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, we definitely have to plan that. We talked about that. I'm coming.
Well, if we get in the playoffs, I'm going to get you in.
Let's do it.
Persuade Mr. Katz to come. But listen, I'm super proud of you doing this. I know it was a big thing. I know what you've been wrestling with. I can't imagine what it's like to go through that. I envy you for having lived that life where you get to go on a pitch and feel that, but I don't envy you going through the process of realizing there's something else, but you seem to have a grip of it.
No. And it's not like I've just figured it out and life's great. It's like I got to stick to my plan, right? My routine and maintain, it's not like proof of work is continuous,
Yeah, I'm going to be up tomorrow morning walking down that beach, maybe saying, am I going to get in that water?
Hey, so I've been every morning in Rich's spot, wake up, there's water there, up to the chest, 8 minutes, just sitting there, man.
What in the sea?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know there's sharks out there.
Oh, yeah. They're fine.
You could probably fucking fight them. You'd probably eat the shark.
Maybe, but Yeah, man, it's fun.
So listen, if people want to keep an eye on this, they want to find out what you're doing when you announce it, where can they go?
My social, right? Culkin22 on Twitter, Culk80 on Instagram. That's pretty much where I will be active on. I have not been, right? I've been off the grid, gosh, months. So I'm excited to kind of be a little bit more transparent with what's going on, life updates and everything. And I'll be able to just share and be open about this whole process and journey and what I'm learning too, and just building something. It's like it's not like this mastered building companies and this. No, I've never done this before. I've played football my whole life. I've always had a learner mentality. My off seasons, I've always learned. I was working 30 hours a week while playing at Mizzou. Been working on my MBA the last couple off seasons at the Kelly School at Indiana, and it's new waters for me. So
where did you wear 22?
22. That was my number growing up. Yeah,
okay.
Basketball. Yeah, Culkin 22.
So that's your basketball number.
Yeah,
and 80 is your football jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, man.
Have you got it tattooed anywhere?
Got no tats.
Let's take you and get you one.
Let's do it right now. Let's go do it
right now. Let's get a trunk one.
Let's do it.
We get you an 80.
80. Be awesome.
Well, listen, man, go crush it. You need anything from me, you just reach out. I got you, and if I can help you with this new venture in any way, promote it, support you. If you can help me grow 7 inches height, that would be awesome.
Let's stick with 12 pounds. We're going to get that, right, by the conference. And, man, I appreciate your friendship again, too. It's been really great to get to know each other the last couple of months, and super grateful. So.
Well, anytime, man. Well, listen, and we've said his name a few times, but big shout out to Rich Katz over there.
No doubt.
Good mutual friend of both of ours.
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. Well, good luck. Stay in touch. Let me know what happens. And, we'll get you back on the show and we'll talk about it.
Let's do it.
All right, bro.
Thanks, Peter.